Our live fire scenarios were really just kind of a program just to kind of throw us in to see how we would react in a situation like that. It was some of our first times being in live fire. We worked on putting out fires, staying low. We also worked on search and rescue in a dark, smoky room as well. Yes, inside of a building. It was a little bit different. It was really neat. It was exciting to be able to just start acting that out and getting prepared for those type of scenarios. I didn't really know what to expect. Being in a classroom for the last 6 weeks, you know, you were really prepared for different things, but you never really know until you actually get into the scenario what it's going to look like, or if you can see in front of your face, or how hot it's going to be. Those were all new experiences, so you're just kind of putting all that together and learning as you go. It's helpful. It really sets a good foundation and background for what we were doing, but I don't think there's anything that prepares you for that adrenaline rush and for all of the senses and emotions coming together at one time, and that's kind of really where, you know, you put the rubber to the pavement. We learned a lot about having to be able to work together to make things happen. It's not a one-man show. You can't just kind of walk in on your own and everybody have a different idea of what's supposed to happen. You really all have to be on the same page. You got to be able to work together. It's a little bit tougher for me with 80 pounds of gear and trying to pull a 300-pound dummy than it would be for all three of us working together. So, especially in the middle of trying to fight a fire and keep it down at the same time when none of you can see 2 feet in front of your face. I was thrilled to death the whole time. It was a huge adrenaline rush, but I just look forward to being able to do it on a regular basis. It was a pretty exciting experience. I'm loving it too. I was pretty nervous about it, just knowing how it's kind of intimidating how big they are, but after we've driven a few times, it's exciting, it's relaxing. It just reminds me of being in a piece of equipment on the farm, so it's not too bad at all. I think it's probably harder or easier in my head than what I made it out to be. I probably in my head made it a lot tougher, but once you got in there and got behind the wheel, it came pretty naturally for me. So I think we're all enjoying it quite a bit. I don't think anybody realizes how daunting that is to be able to maneuver a vehicle like that, especially in the confined spaces that we're trying to train ourselves in, just to be at an upper level on it. And then once you start pumping, I don't think anybody realizes how much work goes into that and how much these guys are trained, how experienced they are, and how knowledgeable they are with even something as simple as a truck like that.
It was definitely interesting, physically tasking to say the least. Like I said before, what we do isn't necessarily a job, it's more of a trade. So to become proficient at things like this, you have to do it over and over and over again, and I think we really got a taste of that a few weeks ago at the Burns. It's all muscle memory. Once you do things a few times and get it right, that's all well and good, but whenever it comes down to a stressful situation, your mind's not really going to remember that. For it to really get into your muscle memory, you really have to train until you can't get it wrong instead of being able to do it right a few times. So going in, spraying water, putting the fire out, coming back out, taking the hose apart, reloading it, then pulling it back off the truck, that's what has really helped us. That's what really gets into our muscle memory. It hasn't been. I've spent 4 years as a volunteer in Bowling Green, so I've had a little bit of experience with that, but these are new people. I really haven't met very many of these people before being hired on here in Owensboro, so that definitely makes a difference, but everything clicked really well, and I think everyone was really happy with the outcome. Everything we do all builds. We can do a few simple tasks, and they might be easy just doing that, but whenever you throw it all together, it's kind of organized chaos. It might not look like we know what we're doing, but at the end of the day, everything is precise, everything is tactically planned out. So whenever we're training with just us three, we all have to work as a team so we can accomplish these goals, and it makes it a lot easier. Not necessarily. At the very beginning of the academy, it was kind of laid out before us what we were going to be doing. I think it was a shock just doing the repetitions over and over and over again, but I definitely see what they're doing, and it's helping out because we've like we've been doing the smoke maze trailers, and we've significantly decreased our time being able to go in, search all the rooms, pulling victims out, stuff like that. So everything that they've done has helped, and it's wonderfully planned out. For sure. I can't really think of anything specifically, but everything that we do here, I know me personally, with having a little bit of experience before, I want to do everything that they do to really separate some different things. It's difficult sometimes, but I want to be trained on their level and what they want to be doing instead of experience that I've had before. So being able to put everything aside and kind of start all over again, that's been really helpful. The book is one thing. We learn a lot from the book. That prepares us for like Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2. We learn a lot from the book, but also we build on that by, I'm a hands-on learner personally. So everything we learn in the book, it doesn't really click until I can get my hands on it and I can do it personally. So that's what's really been the benefit for me. And I think everyone else could say the same thing. The hands-on training has been the biggest benefit. I don't know, on our first 3 years, I think is what they said, that we're not gonna be driving the truck, we're gonna be a hosesman for the first 3 years. I'm really just looking forward to putting in my time, being able to ride the back seat and being a part of Owensboro Fire. It handles a lot better than what I thought it was. At the volunteer departments that I've been on previously, we've had commercial chassis trucks, which is kind of like your, it's not a cab over like you see back here. It's the wheels are more in the front of the vehicle. With the cab over trucks like this one, you have a really tighter turning radius, everything like that. So I really do enjoy these trucks. I think they handle wonderfully. Like I said, I think we're all coming together as a team really well. I think we're building, I think we're learning, I think we're progressing.
You're actually taking the educational portion of it and putting it to the practical knowledge. So after each chapter, there are actual skills that we follow and go through. So we actually take what we've learned. It could be even a case study of something that's went wrong and somewhere else, you know, in the world that they've learned from, and then we're going out and practicing that to prevent that from ever happening. Trying to be a proactive rather than reactive with the knowledge that we've gained. Repetitive. We go over it numerous times, not just once or twice. It's 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 different times over and over that same skill. That way we get it in our memory, and it becomes mind over matter, and we can do it you know, blindfolded if needed. Absolutely. Every fire is different. So they may have a wall here this time, and we go in the next time, and it's a different wall somewhere else. They may make us go in a room, but inside there, every fire is different. It's dark, it's hot, you can't see. It's going in and using the knowledge that we've learned in the book to get into that building, whether we're doing a search in that time or advancing a hose line in that time. Each time is different. And before we start, they give us a scenario, so that kind of gives us a ground base of what we need to do to move forward to complete that task. It's number one. It comes down to teamwork and your communication within that team. You've got to work with each other to assure that you're getting that patient out as quickly and efficiently as possible. You know, there is no time. They're already down. So the faster we can get them out to get them the critical care that they need, the better off we'll be. And how we do that is communication. You know, whoever finds the bodies first is already, you know, going back to the incident command and letting them know that we have found a victim and it needs to be removed. And then from there, we're working on packaging that and start working as a team to whether push or pull to get that victim out safely. It's just like anything else. It takes some time to get used to. It's a big truck. You know, before we started doing this cone course, you know, they didn't put cones out. They just wanted us to get the feel of that. See how it turned, how it backed up, how it brakes. You know, it's got the air brakes rather than, you know, like a regular car and those disc brakes. So it's a totally different machine. So, you know, practice makes perfect on learning how to drive that. I have not driven this type, no, I have not. So it was the first, and it is different. You know, it's everything has a little bit different to it. So it's been an interesting experience today. It does have more torque than I was expecting in a large truck, especially with the amount of weight that the truck weighs itself, the amount of equipment on it. Its turning radius, I was kind of shocked. I figured it would be a little bit, have to go wide to make a sharp turn, and it actually turns pretty sharp. So it was a little bit different.